So let's talk about our next problem-solving strategy, eliminating possibilities. So what are we doing when we're eliminating possibilities? Well, we're supposing that we're guaranteed that the problem has a solution. So we're thinking, okay, this problem has to have a solution. How do we find it? We're going to use the data, or just what we're given. That's what data is meaning there. What we're given in the problem to decide which outcomes are impossible. So we're basically eliminating outcomes based on what we're given in the problem, okay, the stipulations of the problem. Then at least one of the possibilities not ruled out must prevail. So once we've eliminated what we can, what we're left with, some piece of what we're left with has to be the answer, the solution. And if all but one possibility can be ruled out, then that must prevail. So that must be the solution. So once we've ruled everything out, if there's just one thing left, that has to be the solution. So that's basically what we're doing. We're using what we're given in the problem to eliminate different possibilities and trying to figure out which one possibility it can be. So let's take a look at an actual example. So here's our problem. Beth, Jane, and Mitzi play on the basketball team. Their positions are forward, center, and guard. Given the following information, determine who plays each position. So here's the pieces of information, the data that we're given. A, Beth and the guard bought a milkshake for Mitzi, and B, Beth is not a forward. So let's think about Polyus Principles here for a minute. We want to make sure we understand the problem first and foremost. So we're given 3 basketball players, and we know one of them has to be the forward, one has to be the center, and one has to be the guard. And that's what we're trying to deduce. So when we're devising our plan, we're thinking to ourselves, oh, well, I'm given 2 pieces of information, and these 2 pieces of information I can use to help me sort of eliminate possibilities as to who can be what position and who can't be what position. So that's the plan I'm going to devise. I'm going to eliminate possibilities. So now let's carry out our plan. So now let's use these pieces of information to eliminate possibilities. Let's look at letter A. Beth and the guard bought a milkshake for Mitzi. Well, if Beth and the guard bought a milkshake for Mitzi, well, Beth can't be the guard, and Mitzi certainly can't be the guard, which leaves us with Jane has to be the guard, right? And then if Jane is the guard, well, she can't be forward or center or forward. And that's about as far as we can go with letter A. So now let's look at letter B to see if we can deduce these last 2 positions. So Beth is not a forward. So we can immediately eliminate forward for Beth. But Beth, we also know, is not the guard, so she has to be center. And if Beth is center, well, Mitzi can't be center. And then if Mitzi isn't the center or the guard, she has to be the forward. So from those 2 pieces of information, we were able to eliminate possibilities enough to conclude that Mitzi must play forward, Beth plays center, and Jane plays guard. So as with every problem-solving strategy that we've done so far, we really want to get into the habit of asking ourselves really 2 big questions when we're done with each of these problems and trying out these strategies. So when we're done solving a problem, we always want to use Polyus' 4th principle. We want to look back and ask ourselves, was this a good strategy? Could I have done anything differently? Is there a strategy that would have worked better? So you really want to consider if this strategy worked well, and if it did or didn't, what could you have done differently? And then, of course, just we as teachers should be thinking about classroom applications. So are there manipulatives I could have used? How would I model this strategy in the elementary classroom? Things like that. So start getting in these habits of thinking about these things and then modeling that 4th principle for your students and how you want to do that. So I'm not going to answer those questions. I want you to take some time to think about them yourselves this time, okay?